We're going through the top product management and marketing acronyms so you could get comfortable using everyday product terminology and level up your PM skills. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. My name is Alex. On this channel, we talk about product management and business, talking about how to get into the career, how to crush your PM interview, and level up your product skills. By the end of this video, you're going to be a certified expert in product management terminology that is used every day in Silicon Valley and beyond. Of course, to get the official PM terminology certificate, you're going to need to watch video part 2 of this series. Check it out right there, and then come back here. Excellent. Today we're going to be doing some fun reader suggestions as well as some old school favorites. Here we go. Tofu, mofu, bofu. That's how we're going to open that one up. CAC, ROI or ROI. Don't say ROI, say ROI. ROAS, DAO, MAO, LTV, ARPU, CTR, CVR, CPM, CPI, CPA. Tofu, mofu, and bofu stand for top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel. What is the funnel? It's usually a marketing funnel or a sales funnel. It is effectively where your users or customers are on their journey or their experience with your product or service. If they're in the top of the funnel, they haven't really onboarded yet. They're just maybe looking around. They're just becoming aware of the product. Middle of the funnel, that's where they're starting to engage a little bit more. You have the opportunity to retain them a little bit more and present some more of the value that you offer. Finally, the bottom of the funnel is where the decision purchases are made and actually generates the revenue. Really, depending on where the customer is, you're going to be deploying different strategies to try to get them moving down that funnel and into the monetization. CAC, customer acquisition cost. That is usually a measure that tells you how much your business spends to get one customer. Now, customers really are not all made equal, so you really shouldn't be doing averages on these things. In mobile, we could be acquiring certain customers at 2 cents a user and other customers at $20 per user. And it often was more profitable to get the $20 users as opposed to the 2-cent users, even though technically they are both users. So the difference could be stark. CAC versus LTV. CAC is the customer acquisition cost. LTV is the lifetime value. So those two numbers, the CAC, how much you spend on a user, and the LTV, how much you make from a user, are frequently used together to help you understand whether your business is profitable or can be profitable. And LTV, lifetime value, it tells you how much you can expect to generate in revenue over the entire lifetime of that user. ROI, if you invested $100, you expect an ROI of 10%. That means you expect to make a profit of $10 when everything's said and done. However much revenue you need in order to cover the cost of the investment and then give you a profit return of $10, which is 10% of your original investment. Now, in marketing, we also have ROAS quite often, which is return on ad spend. This looks at the pure revenue that you get as a return on the marketing expenditure that you undertook. So if you have a ROAS of 100%, that means you spent $10,000, let's say, and you returned in revenue and customer spend of $10,000. So you returned the exact amount that you spent. For a ROAS of 200%, you would invest $100 and get back $200 of revenue. Whether or not it will actually translate to profit is a separate question, but a lot of times in marketing campaigns, when you're spending money, you want some sort of a return on ad spend in revenue, and that's going to be the ROAS. Let's cover some user metrics. The very commonly used DAO and MAO. DAO is daily active users, MAO is monthly active users. While you definitely want to include users that were churned in those metrics, you don't want to include bounced users. Imagine someone goes to your website and then immediately closes the tab within less than a second. They didn't really get a chance to interact with your product, they didn't evaluate it, and they really shouldn't count as a user. Which is why a lot of times you'll have minimum requirement of interaction, and it could actually just be as short as a few seconds. Just as long as you can capture that the user literally was present on your site or product or service. No engagement necessary, but usually there's like 1 second or 2 second load time where you can just say, yes, this user actually was in our product. Because this measures unique individuals, the bigger numbers are going to be your MAU numbers, your monthly active individual users, but your weekly and your daily is most likely going to be smaller, which is why in the early days, popularized by Facebook metric of DAO over MAU showed you the engagement rate. That showed you how often your users were actually engaging, how often they were coming back. So if your DAO was close to your MAU, that means your users are coming back not only every month, but also close to every day. And if your DAO is much smaller than in your MAU, your engagement, DAU over MAU, is going to be significantly smaller, which means users are not really coming back frequently. This is just one of the ways you can manipulate DAU, WAU, and MAU to get some insights about your business. The next concept is ARPU, A-R-P-U, average revenue per user. This is the concept that shows you the average revenue per user in a given unit of time. So you might have the MARPU or the DARPU, which is the monthly average revenue per user, and the daily average revenue per user. This is important for, again, free-to-play or free-to-use software where you're trying to determine the value to your business of a particular user per unit of time. Let's say your CAC, cost of acquisition, is $2 for a particular user. Well, what is your daily ARPU? What is your monthly ARPU? What is your annual ARPU? And at which point are you going to say that that's the LTV? Because there's only a certain amount of time that the user is likely to stay with your product. What is that for your product? Usually the LTV is not more than 2 or 3 times the expected value that you can get from a user in 1 year, because we expect everyone to churn eventually. But of course, the top businesses, that's not the case. Their LTVs can be significantly higher than 2 or 3 or 4 years of revenue from a particular customer. ARPU is often compared to, again, customer acquisition cost, or it could be compared to multiple channels. What is your ARPU of your biggest customers versus your smallest customers? Your easiest customers versus your most difficult customers? A lot of times there's an inverse relationship, actually. These next two terms are CTR and CVR. CTR stands for click-through rate and CVR for conversion rate. Click-through rate means how often when a user encounters or a customer encounters something about your product, usually that's called an impression. A lot of times that could be about ads, but it could also be about really anything. What is the CTR if you can expect 10% of the users that see a particular offer or an ad to engage with it, then that will have a CTR of 10. YouTube videos have a CTR. The thumbnails have a CTR from 3 to 7 or 8 or 10% sometimes. As you're scrolling YouTube, you're going to see different thumbnails. If something catches your attention, most likely it's going to have a higher CTR, higher click-through rate than others. Extremely important, because all things being equal, the higher your CTR, the more users or customers you engage for usually the same level of investment. CVR, on the other hand, is the conversion rate. How often do users convert? Conversion in business and product means a purchase or transaction or something beneficial for your business or product. Ultimately, it is what you're trying to get your customers to do. Usually in the value of revenue or a sign-up, something that's valuable, that's called a conversion. And a CVR of a particular marketing campaign, out of everybody that clicked, what is the number of actual conversions, beneficial transactions that happen as a result? Impression, CTR, CVR. CPM is the cost per thousand views, 1,000 impressions. It could be as a marketer how much you spend, or as a publisher how much you earn. The CPI or the CPA is the cost per install or cost per acquisition. A lot of times these can be synonymous depending on what you're running the marketing campaign for. If you're trying to target some sort of an install, usually of an app, or an acquisition, which is either a sign up or a purchase, or again some sort of conversion. If you like this video, please make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to know more, please subscribe to my Practical Product Management newsletter, which is down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another channel. My name, and another tech hubs around the country. I don't know where else they do tech, probably other places. Stretchy. We do the dance.